I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For the record, it's Monday, April 9th. Finance Committee does have a quorum this evening, and we'll be reviewing articles for the upcoming town meeting on May 14th and discussing and voting on operating budgets as well, probably.
I'm going to stay here because every time I go to the podium with
Okay.
these binders, they end up on the floor.
Okay, Mike?
So I just wanted to see tonight if we could go through as many of the budgets and vote on them as we can. And then can just whatever we don't get to, we can just put back on the agenda for next Wednesday and try and get them finished up. And the first budget is under 122, Board of Selectmen. And the major change, obviously, in this budget is office salaries were, this current year, $27,251. And this would increase that to $48,000 in order to have a full-time person back in the position. I know the selectmen have made this a special request. There's a lot of things that have to be done, and it's hard when they come in to have something addressed and there's only part-time person in the position. So this would increase the hours so we could have someone there the whole time that town hall is open.
So the office will be fully complemented with this.
And so my recommendation under personnel services would be $50,100, and under expenses, $5,223.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I move $50,100 for Department 122, 510 person.
All those in favor? Opposed? And one abstention.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $5,223 for account 122, 570, charges and expenses.
All those in favor? Opposed? One abstention. Motion carries. Okay,
Next budget is 123 town manager, and under personnel services, I'm recommending $245,370, and under charges and expenditures, $17,400, for a total budget of $262,770.
Mr. Chairman,
it's Mike.
I move $245,370 for account 123, 510, town manager personnel services.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous, motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I move $17,400 for account 123, 570, town manager charges and expenses.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous, motion carries.
Next budget is 135, accounting, and under personnel services, $195,916. Purchase of services, $24,500, and charges and expenditures, $3,635, or a total budget of $224,051.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I move $195,916 for account 135, 510, town accountant personnel services.
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous, motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, I
Yes.
move $24,500 for account 135-520, town accountant purchase services.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous, motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, I move $3,635 for account 135-570, town accountant charges and expenditures.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous?
Okay. 141 assessors. Under personnel services, my recommendation is $138,590. And under charges and expenditures, $34,650, for a total budget of $173,240.
Okay, questions?
I just have one question.
Yes, Mike?
Like, the difference in the charges and expenditures is lower than the recommended one?
Yeah, the main, it's under seminars and conferences.
Oh.
I did talk to her and said, could we keep it at the 2,600 right now? They expended 2,580, and I told her if she finds that the conferences that they have to go to are more expensive and we have to add a little bit, we'll look at that in the fall.
Okay, all right. Because that's one where they really are, you know, the conferences and seminars are.
Yeah, they're the assessors are the only department in town that their board members have to be certified. So they have to go to conferences and take the test and be certified.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $138,590 for account 141-510, assessors personnel services.
Second? Is there a second? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $34,650 for account 141-570, assessors charges and expenditures.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous?
The next budget is under 147, treasurer collector. And under salaries, $206,834. And under expenses, $51,800.
Okay, any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Mike?
I move $206,834 for account 147-510, treasurer collector personnel services.
Second.
All those in favor?
One abstention.
One abstention. Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, I move $51,800 for account 147-570, treasurer collector personal service, treasurer collector charges and expenditures.
Second.
All those in favor?
One abstention.
One abstention. Motion passes.
Next budget is under 155, data processing. And under charges and expenditures, $210,450.
Okay. Questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move 0 for account 155-510, data processing personnel services.
Is there a second?
Second. Charges and
I
expenses.
think it's 5-7.
I'm sorry, 0 for
0 for persons.
510 personnel services.
We got to vote 0.
Sorry.
Yeah, we got to vote.
Still have to
I
vote.
have trouble tonight.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Unanimous? Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, I move $210,450 for account 155-570, data processing charges and expenditures.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous? Motion passes.
Next budget, 161, town clerk. Under Personnel Services, $116,895. And under Charges and Expenditures, $9,875.
Okay, is there any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $116,895 under account 161,510, Personnel Services, Town Clerk.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I move 0 for account 161,511, Town Clerk salary.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous?
Mr. Chairman, I
Yes, Mike.
move $9,875 for account 161,570, Town Clerk charges and expenditures.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
161, Conservation. Under Personnel Services, $89,171.
171. 171?
Yes. 71. What did I say?
161.
171, Conservation. Personnel Services, $89,919. And under Charges and Expenditures, $12,457.
Okay. Is there any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $89,919 for account 171,510, Conservation Commission Personnel Services.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I move $12,457 for account 171,570, Conservation Commission charges and expenditures.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous? Okay.
Okay, under 175, Planning Board, Personnel Services, $92,022. And under Charges and Expenditures, $3,900.
Okay. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I move $92,022 for account 175,510, Planning Board Personnel Services.
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous? Peter?
Mr. Chairman, I
Yes.
move $3,900 for account 175,570, Planning Board charges and expenditures.
Second.
All those in favor? Unanimous? Motion passes.
Under 192, Municipal Building Maintenance, recommending under Charges and Expenditures, $240,600.
I have a question, Mike. Just going
Yep.
back on that, were you at one time thinking of, were you going to outsource the,
Yeah, we were still debating that, we still are thinking, right now, we hire a company to do the cleaning. And at some point, we did add a position under the wage and salary plan so that we could, at some point, hire our own maintenance person to work part-time here and at the police department, someone that we could have control of.
Yep.
But things seem to be working out all right right now, but we'll see in the future.
Steve?
And Mike, what buildings are covered under this? Is it just Town Hall?
This covers Town Hall, Police Station, Highway Garage.
Okay.
Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $240,600 for account 192,570, Municipal Building charges and expenditures.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous? Motion passes.
Under 241, inspections. We have a new building commissioner. If you have a chance, you're around sometime, you can go up and say hello. Chris Carmichael, started last Monday.
Carmichael?
What's that?
Carmichael's his last?
Carmichael, yep. One of the things that we talked about, by the way, for the building inspection department for the future, everybody I interviewed for the position comes from a town where they have online permitting, and we definitely have to, and Chris has said that he'll look at that for us for the future, to allow people to apply for permits online, pay online, make it easier so people just don't decide to just do something without getting a permit. If it's easy for them, they'll do it. And it's something that we definitely have to look at, install it.
Well, gives you a track, you know, you can go back, both the contractor and you can see where your activity has been, and, you know, track it in process, step by step, it's been approved, first inspection.
Right, so if you apply for a permit and you know it has to go to conservation planning,
Right.
rather than call up, you can just go online and look at the tracking and
Right.
see if they've been signed off by all those departments.
And you have a history of it, too,
Yep.
the contractor and the town.
So, under inspections, under personnel services, $168,772, and under charges expenditures, $11,725, for a total budget of $180,497.
Mr. Chairman? Yep. I move $168,772 for Department 241510, Inspection Department Personnel Services.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed, unanimous, motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, I move $11,725 for account 241570, Inspection Department Charges and Expenditures.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? This is, and it's 241,570.
Yep.
And so I think,
Jumped over Chris.
Yeah.
Fire.
all right, we're all set?
Yeah.
Motion, you vote in favor, Paul? Yes. Unanimous? Motion passes.
Okay.
Okay.
Under 292, animal control. Under personnel services, $51,938. And under charges and expenditures, $11,785. For a total budget of $63,723.
Wow. Yes, Paul?
Just a quick question. I noticed that the salary account is lower than it has been for the past 3 years. And is this a change in personnel, or?
This is, right now, this is elimination of the overtime. What we're working on right now is we have a draft of an intermunicipal agreement with 3 Easton, Mansfield, and Norton. We're looking to have a regional cooperation agreement with the 3 towns, that if their inspector is on vacation, then, you know, we'll cover for them, or if there's a call-in, that someone else will cover if their inspector is not around. So hopefully this will cut down on some of the hours so that the inspector can take his vacation. I know we talk about it every year. It's, you know, Brian's committed, and when he has no one to cover, he's concerned about the animals in the shelter and everything else, and so it's hard to get him to take vacation, so I'm hoping that'll help out.
But
Okay.
we basically, and we're adding to the workload, not just of our animal control officer, but the other 2 towns as well. And cutting out the overtime, and I don't know what they're doing. And I find this puzzling, I guess. that there should be an increase in potential duties and a decrease in the money allocated for compensation.
Is it like mutual aid?
There's going to be three, yeah, each town's going to have their own animal control officer, so it'll be,
But other towns, and we have at times in the past had somebody else that was supposed to fill in for, that hasn't worked, I gather.
no.
No. I just feel we have a very dedicated animal control
Yeah.
officer, and I'm a little puzzled at something which, on the surface, sounds like increasing the potential workload and decreasing the amount of compensation. That bothers me. I don't have an answer.
Yes, Bill?
Mike, have we projected, how much we'd be lending out to other towns or vice versa?
No, we're just in the preliminary stages right now. I think in May every year I've eliminated the overtime, and if there's, like I do with the police and the fire, if there's money available in October, we add a little bit of the overtime back in, but right now, unfortunately, if you have tough budgets, people will be frustrated on a Saturday or Sunday. They call, they'll have to wait until Monday for the animal control officer to go to someone's house that has a barking dog. We can't be a 24/7 animal control operation because we don't have the money to do that right now.
Yes, Peter?
So, Mike, you're saying that in the past, we have it in front of us here, what's been expended the past few years, but in the past, we've budgeted less, but we've ended up spending more anyways
We've added in
in
October.
October. Okay. Let's cut it before.
The sad thing is Mike and I could probably attest to this. We have a dog officer that's working 7 days a week. He drives by my house on Saturday. I see him go by on Sunday. He's there 7 days a week. He's probably one of the most dedicated people we have working for us. And any relief we can give him, either as a part-time inspector, a part-time dog officer rather, would be helpful. I think we've tried that in the past. We haven't had much success with it. But, to Mike's point, I don't think this guy takes vacations. He's dedicated. He's there all the time. He's probably, I have no idea how many hours a week he's working. I'm not sure what the overtime account is for, but, if we don't have a solid plan on who's going to replace him while he's trying to take a day off or whatever, we probably should consider putting some money back in there for a part-time dog officer. Until we work out the details with the Tri-Town deal, it almost sounds, I don't want to burn this guy out. And I'm surprised he's not burnt out already. He's been doing this for years. And, I remember one time he finally asked the Capital Improvement Committee for a van because the dogs were falling through the floorboard in the back of the van because it was so old and it was like a 15-year-old vehicle. He doesn't ask for anything. He doesn't complain. But it would be nice if we could help him out, if we have the ability to put someone in there part-time to help him.
That's a good idea.
Ju-
Yeah.
We do have that. We, for the part-time, the $8,485, that's for the part-time animal control officer. Brittany has been working, she's been doing a great job.
Yeah.
And if, some of that money might be available too, so.
Okay. Any other final questions before we?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $51,938 for count 292-510, Animal Control Personnel Services.
Second?
All those in favor? Opposed? One, and,
Mr. Chairman,
yes,
I move $11,785 for count 292,570, animal control charges and expenditures.
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Okay.
Okay. 306 Southeastern Regional, $1,047,296.
Any questions with the presentation, I think on the 28th? It was pretty.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I move $1,047,296 for count 306,560, Southeast Regional Vocational Assessment.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Motion carries.
308 Regional Agricultural School, Bristol County Regional, that's $100,000 under 308, and that includes the 70,000 that's our assessment for the new building.
Okay. Any-
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $100,000 for account 308,560, Regional Agricultural School Assessment.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous.
420 Highway, under Personnel Services, 510, $676,038. And under Charges and Expenditures, 570, $97,150. Under Surface Treatment, 8,000. Under 581 Repairs to Private Ways, 1,000, for a total highway budget of $782,188.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $676,038 for count 420510, Highway Personnel Services.
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I move $97,150 for count 420570, Highway Charges and Expenditures.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I move $8,000 for account 420580, Highway Surface Treatment.
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, I move $1,000 for account 420581, Highway Repairs to Private Ways.
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous.
I was going to do 423 snow removal, but I forgot that budget page, and I'm not quite sure what the amount is. Does anyone remember?
80,000. What are we up to now, Mike?
80,000.
No.
Oh, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I was saying to Keith, if it keeps going, who knows, we could be town meeting before we know what our
Can we
snow.
bring him in for another weather prediction?
Yeah.
So under 423 snow removal, recommend 80,000.
Okay. Is there s-
To go up.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $80,000 for count 423570, Snow Removal Charges and Expenditures.
Is there s- All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous.
We were looking good at the end of February, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
under 510 Board of Health, under 510 Personal Services, $148,194. Under Charges and Expenditures, 570, $8,425. A total Board of Health budget of $156,619.
Is Is there any questions? Steve?
Mike, just on that one, the personnel services, what's driving the increase from previous year? Or it's about a 5% increase, is it steps and longevity?
Steps. Yep, no new hires, just steps in the contract.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $148,194 for count 510510, Board of Health Personnel Services.
Is there a second? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous?
Mr. Chairman, I move $8,425 for account 510570, Board of Health Charges and Expenditures.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Unanimous.
Under 522, Public Health Nurse, under Personnel Services, $33,800. Under Charges and Expenditures, $10,250.
Okay. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $33,800 for account 522510, Public Health Nurse Personnel Services.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I move $10,250 to account 522570, Public Health Nurse Charges and Expenditures.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous?
Under 541, Council on Aging. Under Personnel Services, $57,320. Under Charges and Expenditures, $11,600, for a total budget of $68,920.
Okay. Questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $57,320 for account 541510, Council on Aging Personnel Services.
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous, Peter.
Mr. Chairman, I move $11,600 for account 541570, Council on Aging Charges and Expenditures.
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous?
Under 543, Veterans Agent.
Okay.
Under Personnel Services, $84,531. The main increase there is to add a part-time person to help Estelle in that office. This would allow that. And also, this part-time person would also serve in the town hall in the one-person departments, like the building department, when the clerical position has 5 weeks vacation a year. So when that clerk is out, this person would, I've talked to Estelle, I said, you know, this would be your person, but they would have to fill in on that when that person is out of the office. So that was part of this. And under benefits, charges
You
and
have a question?
expenditures, $570, $3,730. And under veterans benefits, $230,000. For a total budget of $318,261.
Steve?
Mike, under the personnel services, that position, is it going to add benefits?
It would,
So there'll be new benefits now.
yes.
Roughly, what's the impact of the benefit?
I can tell you that.
That comes back a year later. Asking what the percent is. What's the percent?
I was looking, I thought I had the calculations for the water and sewer, so I'd have the insurance number there. But it's not in the, see if I have it.
So it's,
No, I don't have that. I'll get that for you.
Okay.
this would be,
But actually, this position, no, because this position would be 960 hours a year, so that's 18 hours a week.
So it wouldn't be,
benefit.
Wouldn't have
Okay.
the health insurance.
Okay.
what is it, 20 and above?
It's about 19.
Is it,
It's about 19,
Anything 20 or above.
20 or above. Go up to 19. Get up to 19.
all right? Yes, Barney?
I just wanted, I apologize for being late and maybe
No
quite an
problem.
entrance when I was. And I didn't get a chance to ask this when the Board of Selectmen's budget was discussed, because that's the vote that I missed. So I just wanted to ask the question about adding positions in 3 different departments, from what I can see from looking over the budget. And,
It's Department 122?
sorry, yeah, so Department 122.
That's not an ad.
The Veterans Agent, that department, as well as increasing hours to recreation. I think those are the 3 departments that are having their position added or the hours increased.
There's no ad to the Selectmen's Department. That's a replacement.
Was it?
Right. well,
She's retired.
she's
It's not an ad.
part-time,
It's
Right,
re-
and she.
But she won't be
she's
part-time
supposed to
anymore.
be
She
full-time.
was-
Well,
she was-
actually retired 4 years ago.
Yeah, I'm saying.
I know,
So-
but she
she-
was, it was a full-time position.
Right.
So it's
I
not an
understand.
ad.
I understand that as well. And I know for also that recreation was a full-time position in 2004 or 5. But I have concerns about adding positions to departments when we know that there are positions that are gonna need to be cut from some departments that we've discussed in the past few weeks, without the increases made to their departments. In particular, I'm thinking about the school. So Dr. Bayetta wasn't able to give us a fixed number of positions that he would need to cut, but he did mention that he would have to cut from general education personnel to be able to cover the shortfall. And so,
Right.
I mean, we have nothing to work with. I'm well aware of that, and that's been the discussion all along. But it's just something that, when I reviewed all of this before this meeting, that stood out for me, so.
So-
I wanted to raise it as a question.
Okay, maybe we can, Bob, do you have your hand up?
We're not adding any positions, we're replacing positions. 2008, we had a major cutback here in the town hall, and we never replaced most of these positions over the years. We've been waiting for a good time for it to happen. It's never going to be a good time. You know, as long as we don't do a general override, 2.5 proposition 2.5 override, it's not going to happen. We have been, I'll talk about the Selectman's office first of all. We're 5 volunteers. We need things to get done. We're relying on the town manager and his assistant to get things done. We cannot do it unless we pretty much do it ourselves. I'm involved in about 3 projects right now that someone else should be doing, but because we don't have the position, I have the time, so I don't mind doing it. But, you know, it's frustrating for us also, because we understand that the school has their needs. But at some point or other, we've got to start realizing that we need to put some of the programs back. We talked about a building commissioner earlier. You know, that's probably one of the better departments we have that can generate income. And we're throwing money away every year by being frugal and not replacing or putting other people in that office. The technology, being able to go online and apply and pay, that probably will generate some additional income. And hopefully next year we'll be in a position where we can come back to you and say, you know what, by doing that, we generated another $200,000, we need a part-time person. And we're trying to be creative in our own ways and come up with ways to fund these positions. But in particular, the Selectman's office has been undermanned for years. Technology is way out of date. We know it. You know, we should be using tabs. We should be getting rid of paper. We shouldn't be doing all this stuff. We don't have the ability to do that right now. And if I need something done, I have no one I can call. So, again, I understand the shortfalls in other departments, and we've been talking about shortfalls for years. The only difference here is it's now time for us to get real and try to figure out how to backfill. The veterans, as another example. Guess what, folks? We got a lot more veterans than we had 10 years ago. And they're coming home, they need services, we need people there to help them. And if we don't have those people there to help them, then, I'm not sure where they go to get that assistance. So, yes, we are adding, putting back positions, but at the same time, I think if you look at the schools, you'll notice that there's been a few positions added there also at the top over the years that weren't there before. We're just trying to replace people. We're not trying to create new positions. We're trying to find spots where we can backfill that makes sense to us. And that's just the beginning. We have so many other departments that are on demand. And, recreation's another one. It's getting bigger and better. It needs a lot more manpower. The young lady is doing it, and I don't know, when I come in here, I see her here all the time, even though I know she's part-time. I saw it before too, so, I understand it's part of the game we play, but, we have to start getting more qualified people. We finally have a building commissioner who was licensed to do the job. It took us years to get there. We're going to have to pay a bit more for it, but at least we finally have that position that's finally available to us. So, I can't really answer your question other than the fact it's basically a need that we need to have.
Okay, is there a follow-up question?
No, I appreciate that. I think it's embarrassing in some cases, the way that we've had to or been able to fund departments, council on aging is another. That's another person that works, I'm sure, more hours than she's paid for. And, she's needed help for years and years as well. I just have this concern that, kind of getting what we're paying for, which is not enough.
Okay. Tom?
What we've done to fill these positions is we've eliminated other things. It's not like we added. Let's take the veterans agent. I know you nailed that one, right? The veterans agent, okay, that $230,000 line item, you see that? $172,500 comes back to the town as free cash, of which 70% goes to the school. They didn't earn it, but they get it. Okay? That's because that's what the veterans agent has to do. She has to keep up with it, and she's overwhelmed over there with all the cases we have now. A lot of veterans coming back. We're still at war, okay? And I don't care if you pick on any other department, but I don't want to hear like we're adding to the veterans department because that gets to me, okay? No, I'm just saying, you isolated that one as we added $9,600 to a department, okay? That brings back $172,500. If we don't do it right, we get zip. We still have to pay it. We don't get it back. Okay? And there are a lot more veterans coming back that need help than we've seen in years. It's getting worse.
Absolutely. And I'm not trying to pick on any one department. As I said, I could have raised this when I arrived. I arrived a few minutes late and had the same feelings about the Board of Selectmen position as well. It's not specific to any one department.
Just on the Board of Selectmen's position, if you look at your budget page, this is restoring a cut.
Terrible.
And this is $3,000 less than this was budgeted for in 2017. 2017, the office salaries were $51,852. This is requesting $48,000. It's over $3,000 less than that. If you take this plus the veterans part-time secretary, which we did have a part-time secretary in that office before, and add those together, they don't even come to half of a salary of one of the new administrators that's been added in the school department in the last few years. So, it's minuscule.
Yes, Paul?
And I don't think, as Bonnie said, it's tough that we're in this position. I don't think we should be looking at adding up these part-time positions as hurting the school department. This position in the selectman's office, you need a full-time person there. And as Tom was saying, the veterans agent had a part-time person, and now the workload is twice what it was when I first came here, and she doesn't have a part-time person, so it's just necessary.
Okay, Paul?
Yeah, Mike sort of alluded to what I was going to say, and I'll just say it anyway. And that is, the issue to me is that there should be somebody here that is in the Board of Selectmen's office where people can come when the town hall is open. I mean, that to me is basic. And that's what we had for many years. We didn't for the last several years, agreed. It's not good. I mean, you come in here, you expect that if you need to see somebody in the building inspector's office, you'll see them. If you need to see somebody in the collector's office, you'll see them. Or there'll be somebody up at Board of Health. You also, I think, most people would feel that there should be somebody who can answer a question, or you can hand things in and do whatever you want for the Board of Selectmen, the chief of the town. And it's bothered me that in the last few years that we haven't had a full-time person. You come walking into the office and there's nobody there, except all sorts of stuff. And I just think this is one area that I think we need to get back to, is to have that office covered, where a secretary, receptionist, whatever you want to call her, she does all sorts of things. But I do think that this is needed. I share your concern. I think we all do, frankly. But I do think that this is one where town services demand that you have adequate coverage, and I think all three of these fit that category.
Yes, Walter?
I agree. I'm sure we all agree that all our departments are operating understaffed. But for instance, when I see another part-time position at the rec department, have we prioritized all the departments in their staffing needs? Say, here's, when we find a little bit of money each year, here's a priority list of where we'd like to restore those. Fancy positions, truck balls.
I think really that the priority comes from the town.
We have, obviously, priority is to get the selectman's position back to someone being in that seat full-time. And the next one was because of the increase in the services, the veterans agent position.
Understood, but I'm just thinking longer term. I mean, what's next? What's the next?
What's
one
next?
we should be attacking. And specifically, I'm asking, is the rec department variances that high in the priority list? How does that fit in the priority list right now?
At the rec right now, obviously, because we're looking to add hours, is in the priority. After that, we would look at our planning department, because we need to do a new townwide master plan and update our zoning, and with one person in that department, it's hard for someone to be trying to work on something like that and doing all the clerical work too. So at some point, the planning zoning would need a person in that position.
Did you have a question? Okay. Is there any other comments or questions?
All right, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $84,531 for count 543510, Veterans Agent Personnel Services.
Is there a second? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $3,730 for count 543570, Veterans Agent Charges and Expenditures.
Second?
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, I move $230,000 for for account 543-579, Veterans Agent, Veterans Benefits.
Second?
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous? Motion carries.
Do you want to continue?
Sure,
Okay.
let's go.
Under 610 library, $409,089.
Okay, any questions in the library? Steve?
Mike, on your recommendation, do the departments actually see your final recommendation and give you input? And the input for the library was,
Yeah, they were fine.
okay.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $409,089 for account 610570, library, other charges and expenditures.
Is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous.
630 recreation.
Okay.
As we get into this budget, Bonnie, just a point of reference, I'm not an ethics expert, but you were in that position as a paid person, and I believe you have to wait at least a year before you can comment or participate on the rec budget. So, okay, 630 recreation. This budget would provide for the hours of the rec director to increase to 25 hours a week from the current 18. And the salary under personnel services, $22,529, and charges and expenditures, $13,600.
Okay. Walter, go ahead, Walter. Saw you first. All right, Peter. Peter, go ahead.
So is that benefits are increased?
It would be benefit
Benefits.
eligible.
Yep. Walter?
So back to the priority then, how is this measured against all the other short staff?
Yeah, it's something that's been talked about quite often. As a matter of fact, our entire Recreation Commission resigned last year because of it. And so it's been a continuous area that we've always hoped that we could add hours to provide, not just the young people of Norton, but also some adults with some recreation opportunities. And by allowing more hours in that position, it will allow for more year-round things. Because right now, with the few hours that we're in there, when that pool's open, it eats up a lot of that hours that are budgeted for the whole year get eaten up in the summer. So it leaves hours in the rest of the year, more or less just to do bills and, that's it, and a few other things organized for the following year and do some bills, but it doesn't allow you to do a lot in the off-season. This would allow some more flexibility.
Steve?
And so, to that point, what's kind of the benchmarking to increasing the hours? You say they'd be doing these extra steps. How do you, at the end of this, look at it and say it was successful or not?
I would say the main thing you'd look at is what activities were added after the summer. Rather than just concentrating on the pool. We have the pool, then we have a snowflake social, and we have the Easter egg hunt, and some of those events that already exist, but what got added? And how did this benefit everybody?
And then, so do you know roughly, so this is a salary increase. To my earlier question, what's it going to add on to the benefit? Dollar amount, if you,
I'd have to get you that.
okay.
I'll keep searching while you.
Yes, Peter?
As an aside, I know you talk about the pool.
Yep.
So this person in charge of the rec is essentially in charge of the pool. What is that, what do we rake in for that, for renting out to people in the summer?
Each year,
Yeah,
I don't have it with me, but I can get that for you.
interesting to know
Yep.
what we're, we're only spending, $22,000.
All the money-
How much do they pull in, really?
Yep.
Because if they weren't there to pull in the money,
Right.
we would be
And
pulling
a
in
lot of that money is, that comes in from the pool, pays for lifeguards,
lifeguards.
maintenance of the pool. It's not a huge moneymaker.
Right.
Which it shouldn't be, it
Shouldn't, but it covers the
But
cost.
it's to maintain the pool and pay for the lifeguards and have some money in the account to begin in the next year.
Okay.
Bill?
Mike, is it this, going back to benefits, is it the same benefits at 25 hours as it would be at 40?
Same benefit only for, like, if someone took the health insurance. As far as vacation days or personal days, that's all prorated based on your hours.
But the health insurance isn't? So,
Still, town pays 75%, yep.
thank you.
Yes, Bob?
There's a lot of programs they offer. Founder's Day is coming back this year. That's exciting to me. I know that was exciting to a lot of people in town. It took a one-year hiatus, but we're back. Camp Theater 3 is another one. Even though conservation is going to be pretty much under control of that, it's going to be passive recreation. And I see that recreation will become more involved in that. And that's going to be it could be another moneymaker, we hope, down the road for Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and all those folks. And hopefully that'll pan out. But, it's one of those departments that, again, if you had the right person and the right amount of hours, you can generate some additional income. Maybe you can add different programs, additional programs. I remember when I first became a selectman back in the mid-'90s, there were ski trips in the wintertime. We don't do that anymore. You have a number of them they'd go to. They had trips to the casinos for the elderly, and there was a lot of different things that they offered that we just don't have time to do it, the money to do it today. But again, it's another one of those hits we took back in the 2000s, 2007, 8, 9, where we just had to cut back. I remember a time when the department was being funded by donations only. It's the only way we kept it going. But now we're hoping to get this thing up and running again. We've got a very active, very active group of individuals that are on the Recreation Committee that seem excited about getting things done. So just another step trying to get programs back into place. And again, it's been a long time. We need to start somewhere, and, I understand there's shortfalls in other areas, but, when's a good time to start? So.
Okay. Anything else?
All right, Mr. Chairman,
Mike?
I move $22,529 for account 630510, Recreation Personnel Services.
Is there a second? All those in favor? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Opposed? Abstain?
Abstention.
1 abstention, 2 abstentions.
Mr. Chairman,
Was that seven?
I move $13,600 for Department 630570, Recreation Charges and Expenditures.
Second?
Second?
All those in favor? Opposed? 2 abstentions? Yes.
And just on the expenses, a lot of the expenses come out of the money that's raised. This doesn't cover all the expenses for recreation.
Okay. All right. Did you get that vote, Peter?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. Keep on going.
Next would be 300 Norton Public Schools. 28 million is my recommendation.
We're right.
Go back.
We're right, Mike?
Hang on.
300 Norton Public Schools.
School department. Department 300.
We can do, personnel services, 22,070,000, and charges and expenditures, 5,930,000, but they can move it anywhere they want, so my
What's that?
recommendation's 28 million.
Increase last week. It's 3%. $700,000. It's 2.something% increase.
Okay. Any questions? Comments?
Remove one number.
Yeah,
You
it's
don't
just
have
one
to
number.
move them separate, because
You can-
they can do whatever they want.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $28 million to account 300, School Department.
Second? Is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous? Motion carries.
Under 210 Police Department, once again, I've slashed the overtime in the police budget with the hope that, you know, in the fall, we have money, we can put some money back into the overtime. So right now, my recommendation under personnel services is $3,186,660. And under charges and expenditures, $199,035, for a total recommendation of $3,385,695.
Is there questions? Paul, you had your hand up first?
Just so I'm clear on this, the amount that you're recommending for personnel services, is the staffing the same as it would have been under the department request? Is this just overtime and other things?
It's just,
So there's no change in staffing?
no, just the overtime.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Steve?
Same question, Mike. The chief was fine with this number. Any comments?
Well, I wouldn't say that.
All right. He understood.
Does this include, and we have one recruit coming on, is it?
Yes.
Okay, so that's included?
Yep.
Okay. Bill?
This isn't, police department specific, it's more in general. If, and I don't have the book open to see exactly what the overtime line item is, but at some point, is hiring a body or two better than funding all the overtime? At some point, it has to.
It does, but every time you hire somebody, they have to take, time off, and someone's got it, because they're a 24/7 operation, someone has to fill in, so they're in there on overtime, so it does balance off somewhat. And it gives you more leadway. Say, like the fire department, you know that you have 9 guys on, and one guy calls in sick, you don't necessarily always have to fill that. And if you don't have the money in your overtime, you wouldn't fill that. Maybe when you get down 2 guys, you gotta call one in on overtime, but maybe not when one's down. And it would be the same as the police have more people, they can leave a shift uncovered. If they have 4 officers on the street and they think maybe they can go with 3 at a minimum, if the 4th guy calls in sick, they don't fill it for that shift, if it's a shift where there's not a lot of activity. But if there's 2, you gotta call 1 in, so.
But happened, the police chief and fire chief said that based on state metrics, national metrics, whatever, that we're understaffed to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So again, at some point, wouldn't it be better to staff
And we've been doing that gradually with the fire department and, to a lesser extent with the police department, because it seems like every time you get someone on, someone retires and then you're back at it again. But you know, with the fire department, gradually, it's been increasing 1-2 a year. So we have been looking at that.
Okay.
Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $3,186,660 to account 210510, Police Department Personnel Services.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, I move $199,035 to account 210570, Police Department Charges and Expenditures.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Motion carries. Okay.
Chairman?
Yes.
I'll just make a general comment. I understand why Mike is doing it and why he's doing it the way he's doing it. And I don't know that we have any other way of going at it. But one of the things I've also noticed over the years is that the overtime gets cut in this budget because we got to make it balance. Almost invariably, we can count on the fact that in October, from someplace or other, free cash or something, money goes back into that overtime account because it has to. And so I'm looking at this and saying, all right, this is what we got to do now, but I will be willing to bet $5.
Big spender.
Go all in.
Go all in, John. I'm a New Englander. I'm from Maine. You're careful. That, as has been true in almost every year, at some point we'll be adding overtime money to both of these accounts because you just can't operate without them. And we tried in other years the same thing about adding staff. This is going before the recession. In the idea of cutting down overtime. It cuts it down some, but you always have to have a reasonable amount of overtime for the reasons that you gave. It just, you can't get rid of it by adding staff. I think you could add 20 more people, and you'd still have an overtime problem at times.
And just, I mean, just the, you can't predict overtime. There's injuries that are involved and everything else. So those things can't be, you know, planned or budgeted for, so it just
Can't
happens.
get rid of it. But does it have to be 6, 7, 800,000? That's my point. That if those numbers, those are bodies. We're not talking 50,000.
Okay? Did we vote on?
Okay.
Under 220 Fire Department. Same thing here. Under Personnel Services, I'm recommending $3,529,856. And that is an overtime recommendation of $503,811 versus a request of $606,655. And under charges and expenditures, $189,800. And a total budget of $3,719,656.
Any questions, Mike?
Yeah, this came up when the fire chief was here. It's just, he mentioned with all the opioid abuse and everything that Narcan costs, and they just mentioned that it's going up again. And I asked, and they kind of thought, and he said they had sort of a conversation about having that Narcan reimbursed from the recipient. And I mean, we charge for ambulance services. I don't know if it's legal or if that even consideration.
It would, if it's handled, if the fire department goes out there with the ambulance and someone has insurance, it would be put on that insurance. The town's also part, I mean, we don't know if anything will ever come of this, but we're part of a class action. I know I'm not using the right term because they said it's not a class action lawsuit, but it's a lawsuit where a lot of communities have signed on, where they're going after the drug manufacturers and drug distributors and manufacturers to receive compensation for what they feel is their actions that have caused this drug overdose, so we'll see if we get anything from that. But when they go out with the ambulance, if they administer Narcan and someone has health insurance, it will be on there.
That's not always the case.
Right, it's not always the case. And you do what you can. For the unpaid, the people that don't have health insurance, we do what we can to try and collect that, but
All
not
right,
always
thank you.
easy.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Mike?
I move $3,529,856 for account 220510, Fire Department Personnel Services.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Opposed, unanimous?
Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $189,800 to account 220570, Fire Department Charges and Expenditures.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Opposed, unanimous?
Chairman?
What, yes, Paul?
With your permission, I'd like to return, if I could, to the police department to ask the town manager one question.
Certainly.
When the chief was here, he mentioned that he would like to have an additional, I can't think what the title is, it's the police who are in the schools.
School resource
School
officer.
resource.
Yeah, and we have one, and he wanted a second one. And he made a case for it.
You did.
And we listened and said, thank you. What I'm asking, and I asked about staffing earlier, is this no increase in staff? Does that mean we're diverting one of our present police? Or is this just one of those requests that we couldn't fill this year?
I don't think that was in,
Wasn't it, there's split between the school expense?
Right.
Yeah,
75%?
it is split, but you were
Please.
talking personnel.
Yeah,
And personnel is a police person.
right.
So,
I will check with the chief and see if the reduction in the overtime has any impact on that position at all, and let you know.
I had no idea. The way his request was, an additional person. So he could have two people be in the schools. Now, I don't know how it would play out if we're not adding to his staff, but I didn't think of it when I was talking to you before, and I.
His salary request is fully funded in this request. All that's reduced is the overtime.
Okay, well then I will go back to my original
I'll have
question
to-
and find out if he's, what happened to the idea of a second school resource person.
Okay, I'll ask him that.
okay.
No,
Good question.
I-
Yeah, I remember the discussion, and
And it's just a question of, does that mean we have one less person to do other police duties? Or is he adding somebody, or what's happening?
Yep. It seemed like it was certainly needed.
I'm not arguing
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Okay. Yes, Peter?
So, in the chief's request for his budget in February, he requested the second resource officer and a full-time problem-oriented policing officer, and he suggested implementing this over a 2-year period. So it's kind of in his request of his diatribe, or whatever you want to call it. Maybe that's not the right word. Maybe that's
There are no ads.
summary page in the front.
Yeah.
There are no ads.
I know that the cost is, one of them has been shared between the school department and the police
Right.
department. But the personnel is a police person. And so I'm just curious as to whether we're adding another police person. So that would mean your answer to me would be different of my original question.
Yep, I will check on that and see if, I think he has his staffing, and I just don't know if by reducing the overtime, you affect putting someone into the,
Okay, well, I'd like to know
Yep,
whether if
I'll let you
we're
know.
making an addition there, I'd like to know if it's an addition or just an internal transfer.
right.
I think, yeah, good point.
Okay.
Okay. Any other final comments? We'll go back to fire department. Department 220?
We're done with fire.
Yeah, we're all done with that. Going to
We already
emergency
did it?
medical.
Oh, emergency medical, that's right.
I think we're on ambulance.
That's been done.
Right, emergency medical.
Man,
vote on
Emergency medical services.
Fire, I'm sorry. Under 230, emergency medical, my recommendation is $110,400.
Okay, any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $110,400 for account 230570, emergency medical services charges and expenditures.
Second?
Second?
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous.
And just to let you know, the difference between the chief's recommendation and mine basically is I reduced the ambulance billing services, and it's a percentage, so you pay a percentage of whatever you bill, so we really don't know. I just took an average over the last few years where we were and was able to reduce it based on the previous years, and he agreed to that. Under 240, emergency planning. My recommendation is $7,150, which is the same amount that was budgeted this current fiscal year.
Okay. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move $7,150 to account 240570, emergency planning charges and expenditures.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Great. Hey, Mike, can I just go back and ask a
Yep.
question on the Department 230? I know we were talking about the regionalization. Would that department be affected?
No. The regionalization is in communications.
Just, okay, no, okay.
Didn't vote on that one today.
And the net budget is 290,
There we go.
which is communications. And under personnel services, 575,000, which is a reduction in the overtime is the difference. SEMREC assessment, that's the regional center, $51,000. And charges and expenditures, $139,125, for a total budget of $765,157.
Steve?
Mike, when we go into the presentation, we had asked for backup detail on the 51,000. What assumptions, because at the time, there was confusion on where the amount came from and how. I
You-
don't know if we've
You didn't get it that night?
gotten that information yet, if I missed it maybe. So I haven't seen that.
All right, want to hold off on this till next week, and I'll get you that?
I think that
I'd
makes,
like to see it, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
yep, that'd be great.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's it?
Yeah?
Want to do, yeah, we'll hold off on capital till next week.
Yeah.
Do all the articles at once. Okay. Great, thank you.
All right, thanks, Mike. Okay, we have minutes from the meetings of March 26th, March 28th, and April 4th. We start off with March 26th.
They printed out.
I'm sorry?
Printed out, I don't have a copy.
You do not have a copy? Want to share it? You can share it with me? 326? 326, March 26th?
Some here if you.
There's some, hey, here's
There you go. Thank you.
628. 628 and 4.
Everyone, do you have a copy, Bonnie? Okay.
628 and 4 is
I have to abstain on two of them anyway, so. I know that chart.
See you next week, too.
Chairman?
Yes, Paul?
This, everything in it is fine, except that I think it would be good if we could indicate that this is, we're talking about a special town meeting of such a date. I don't see anything in this that just, you wouldn't know whether this was the annual or
Yeah.
whatever it was
Okay, we
later
could-
on, record keeping.
Yeah.
It's just a question of saying that we're discussing the warrant articles for the
For
special
s-
town meeting of, with a date.
Yeah, for the special town meeting
April 11th.
being
April
held.
11th.
Yeah,
That's all. It just needs to be there at the heading.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay. Get that amended. That's a good point. Oh, sorry, Bill.
Did everybody see my email?
Yeah.
Is that, should it be amended that way? Yes, no? My feeling is we should put it in there. That we ask the question if this property is clean or not. I'm told it was clean for Article 2.
It's important.
Important,
I
yes.
got no problems with putting
No.
that, and I do remember you're asking a
Yeah,
question.
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So we'll add your question and comment.
Because I
Yeah.
sent it to
Right, yeah, I saw that. Okay,
The answer was that it was.
Yes.
No, I should have followed up, but I did.
All right.
At least we asked.
yeah. Okay, yes,
I move we accept the minutes of March 26, 2018 as amended.
is there a
Second.
Second?
All those in favor? Opposed? And one abstention. Okay, meetings of March 28th.
I didn't even catch them.
Usually it's my name that's going, not yours.
I didn't really read these.
She must have cut and pasted.
Hmm.
All the way down.
Did I spell it wrong?
There's a
Second by?
There's R-O-T.
Oh,
Wendy.
that's my cut and paste. I will amend the next document I make.
Okay,
There's also a stray "and" in the first paragraph after my name, so it's supposed to go before.
okay, you can
That's
strike,
probably me too.
strike that.
That's why this is not my day job.
Did a good job, Peter.
I hear you're hired for Wednesday, too.
Motion's Mr. 26.
It depends how, these weren't so great, so I don't know if you want to hire me.
We had all the abstains. Owners? Okay. I think that's, yep. All right.
Chairman,
Yes, Mike?
I move we accept the minutes for the meeting of March 28, 2017 as amended.
Second?
All those in favor? Opposed? One abstention. Okay, and
We have a copy, an
License.
extra copy of, it's the third, 70.
April 4th.
April 4th?
April 4th, this was
Thank you.
exclusively with the school department.
Forces the notes today. You were present, you weren't?
Half day.
You weren't there?
I was.
April 4th? It says you were there.
Yeah, that's what I said, I got it posted. Half day.
I'm sorry, I have to go back to the last minutes. It's 2017, and it's actually 2018. So, I don't feel bad for not missing it, because everybody missed it, so.
Wow.
Well, those minutes definitely made it minute.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And
I could have sworn I picked that up. The heading thing, I did that thing, I could have sworn
You were just trying to turn
I
back
didn't do
time.
the 18 part of it, I did the March 28th part. I double-clicked on the, on that little piece of
Alright.
Word. I'll do better this time. Try to.
yeah, sure.
I move we accept the minutes of April 4th, 2018.
Second?
All those in favor? Looks like unanimous.
Anybody abstain from that one? No?
Just
That's an I know.
to go on the record, we will be having
It was affirmative.
our annual public hearing on Monday, April 23rd at 7:30 here in the Selectmen's Room. And with that, any other final
Next meeting.
old news?
Next meeting.
Next meeting will be Wednesday, April 11th at 6 PM prior to the special town meeting at 7 PM at the high school.
Who's
Oh.
running that?
Some
Bill
rookie.
Rotundi. Okay, I will not be there. I have
Do we have anything to discuss?
family
next
commitment.
Anything to talk about?
week? Probably not. Probably nothing to discuss, but
Yeah, we just, I think,
We
just
always do it.
want to just meet there, and just might be some housekeeping issue. You never know.
I know, yep.
The word of the problem, may ask something.
Right,
May have an article, may ask.
okay. All right, anything else before we adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Okay. Meeting adjourned.